Wanted to try to give you some encouragement today. Obviously, you've clicked on a link to get some information on how you could help somebody stay sober, or to cause someone to stop drinking or taking drugs. And I would like to just encourage you today. That's what this video is all about, and try to give you a few tips that might help you. The first thing I would suggest to you is remind yourself as you're going through this that this too is going to pass. That's a saying we used to say in the AA program. I've been sober a lot of years now. Haven't been to meetings in a lot of years, but that's one of them we used to say. And I've carried that through my life, and I want you to try to take that on and think about that. You might be a teenager in a home. You might be a young person and your dad's coming home drunk. Your mom's drinking. You might be a parent who has a son that's taking drugs or drinking, and you just feel like it's going to last forever and it's never going to get better. And I'd like to say to you that everything changes, everything is temporary, and this is not going to last forever. And my hope for you is that you will remind yourself of that each day. Another tip that I would give you is that you would put some boundaries up for yourself. If you're a young person in the home, that's a little hard to do when your parent comes home drunk. You know, I endured that as a child and as a teenager, and there's nothing worse than somebody coming home drunk, knocking the windows out, or beating your mother, and I understand that. And, you know, especially for you, I'd like to say, just know, you know, it's not going to last forever. You are going to grow up. Hopefully they're going to get sober before you do. Maybe you're the wife in the home and the husband is coming home. Set some boundaries. Look, you lose yourself when you're in the middle of alcoholism and drug addiction. Families get... they have a lot of challenges as a result of that, and you end up losing who you are. And I would say to you is take care of yourself. Set some boundaries, because when you set boundaries and you don't take on the feelings and the responsibility and the behavior of the other person, that causes them to start to look at themselves. And a lot of times when we're alcoholics or whatever the situation is, we want to blame everybody else around us. We'll look for an excuse to drink. You know, when I was a young married kid, I would get mad at my wife so I could run out and go drink. So don't take that on, and set some boundaries up for yourself, what you're willing to put up with and what you're not. Now, if you're trying to get them to stop drinking or taking pills, hiding the bottle is not going to help. You know, it might for a day, it might until they can find another one, but most people are going to find a way to drink, or they're going to find a way to get some pills. So that's really not going to help you to do that. I would encourage you to not enable them. Don't run around babying people and trying to keep them sober physically, because you can't do that. What you can do is quit enabling them and let them hit their bottom. Now, what do you mean by that? Well, the bottom is when they've had enough. And when they see you living your life and your life isn't intertwined with theirs, sometimes it'll cause them to say, you know what, I need to change. And people have to go through pain. And you have to let them go through the pain, because without the pain, they're not going to stop doing what they're doing. People change for two reasons. One is for pleasure, and one is to avoid pain. And people run from pain. So don't try to take that away. Let them have their pain. An intervention might help, you know, with a professional, where you set them down and set some boundaries. An intervention, so to speak, took place in my life when I was 20 years old. I'd been drinking from the age of 14, said I'd never be like my dad. He probably said he'd never be like his dad, who was an alcoholic. He'd get drunk, get in trouble, come home, be violent. And I said I'd never be like that. And guess what? When I drank, I got just as crazy as he did. And at the age of 14, I was an alcoholic. So if you're a parent and you're wondering if your son or your daughter, whoever it is, you know, if they're ever going to sober up and have a good life, I'm here to tell you that can happen. It happened for me. I got sober at the age of 20, and I haven't had a drink since, and I've had a wonderful life. So an intervention might help them. My base commander made me go to an AA meeting. Now, I thought AA meetings were for people who were drunks, to be honest with you, because my step-grandfather, that's what he'd do. He'd go to meetings and he'd come home drunk. And so I just didn't think that would work. But when I went there and I walked in, I saw there were other people who acted just like me. There were periodic drinkers that, yeah, they swear it off, but when they drank, when they took that first drink, they start running wild. So maybe an intervention's in place. What I would suggest you do is to try to give that person who's having trouble with drugs, who's having trouble with alcohol, I try to give them some hope. Because oftentimes when they're caught up in the middle of that, they think that there's no other way to live and that they can't beat the addiction. And I'm here to tell you that's a lie. They can beat the addiction, and they can do it one day at a time, and one day at a time will stack up to 40 years, which is what I have now. So have them talk to somebody that has a lot of sobriety. See, they're thinking they can't have fun in life. They're thinking, what am I going to do without booze or drugs? I'm here to tell you, life is a whole lot better without booze or drugs, without hangovers and without DUIs and without waking up in jails and without the remorse that comes. But they don't know that. And so hook them up with somebody. I'm going to put my if you see this on YouTube, there'll be a link that you can go to. It'll be drralphbroussard.com. And you can click on that link and go to my blog. And you'll see some entries on it, and just my email will be there. You can ask questions or you can email me. I'll be glad to talk to whoever it is that's wondering if they can stay sober and if they can have a good life. I see a lot of these young folks, in the meetings, and they think that it can never happen for them. And I'm here to tell you it can, and it's worth every ounce of effort that a person will put in. So my mission today is to give you some hope that if your son's drinking and drugging, that doesn't have to last forever, and that they can stay sober. If it's your husband, if it's your wife, if it's whoever it is, there is life and sobriety is possible. And the other thing I would encourage you to do is to live your life. A lot of times people get caught up in everybody else's what we call disease, their alcoholism or their drug addiction, and they quit living their life. The best thing you can do for that person in your home is to live your life. Let them see that you're not going to be swept up in this disease. They can be. Remember, though, that's just their behavior. It's not who they are. But they can be. You don't have to be. So put the good things in your life. Live your dream, whatever that dream is. Go. See, what happens is, I've had teenage daughters, I've had daughters, and I've had problems, and I've had sleepless nights. And when we focus on that and we don't have another life or a life or a dream or things that we enjoy outside of that, we get consumed by it. And so I would encourage you to start living your life. Hope this helps. I wish I could make them stop doing whatever it is you want them to do. All I can do is offer some hope. If you need somebody to talk to, you can email me. It's Dr. B. That's DOCTORB, as in boy, Dr. B. 3204@gmail.com. You guys have a great day. Take everything just one day at a time and try. And you can. I'm not going to say try. Enjoy the present, because the present is really all you have. Have a great day.